You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello there, and welcome back to Paranormal Experience. I'm Kat Hobson, your host, with my guest, Butch Witkowski. And I've got to tell you, I'm having so much fun with this conversation. There's actually a question in chat that says, could stink bugs be aliens? And she had one come crawling around when he heard you talking about UFOs. I got to tell you, those things look alien. And do you have those in Pennsylvania?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Oh my gosh!
And they right now, all our leaves are down and stuff. And I was just out the yard day before yesterday, and there was a couple little nests on the bark of a couple trees, and I have stuff to kill them, so I just got some of that out of the shed and went over there and sprayed the crap out of them. So we won't be seeing them this summer.
I just hate those things.
They're really they do stink.
Yeah, and I leave my doors open sometimes for the dogs, especially right now because up and down's an issue. But I wash my curtains all the time, and I took them down, and they were in the folds of my drapes. And I was just like, no, go away, because you're scared to touch them. So I don't want to get all that stuff.
A lot of times where we'll see them is like on the back patio, the ceiling of the patio.
Yes, they like
or
height.
Yeah. And what I usually do there is I just fire up the pressure washer and I nail them all. but yeah, I'm going to answer Brenda's question here. Yes, seriously, aliens could take any form they want to. There are 57, I believe, known varieties that have been documented over all these years. That number has not changed. A reptilian is a reptilian, a gray is a gray. There's different sizes. But they do take word forms. And then you have the ones that are a little weird that really aren't documented that well are the ones that are seen, but they disappear and then they'll reappear as something else. And there are 4 or 5 really good cases of that happening out in New Mexico. Now, they could be aliens of some sort. They could be skinwalkers of some sort. They could be a paranormal anomaly of some sort. They could be black-eyed kids. I mean, there are so many things, but it just seems like southern New Mexico. When I say southern New Mexico, I'm going to say down along the Route 10 corridor, going from, toward Arizona. Mm-hmm. And those cases go back many, many, many years. But then you have that same situation in Northern California and in Washington State. But they're talking mainly about, they're trying to make the connection of Bigfoot with UFOs or something big and hairy in UFOs. We don't know, Kat. We got all the manpower, we got the equipment, we got all the cameras, we got all the know-how, we got all this, that, the other thing, and we're still out there beating the bush. Now, have we collected evidence over time that makes sense? Yes, we have. We've got good video, we got good pictures, we got good EVPs, we've got good camera traps, all that stuff. But until somebody, I'd drag one of those little gray sons of whatever and lock them up here in my office or over in my library, I'm going to keep looking.
Well, you have to watch it if they reach out from under the door, though.
Yeah, I'll just smack his fingers with a hammer.
Yeah. But, I'm fascinated by this whole phenomenon of, is Bigfoot interdimensional? Are ETs interdimensional? Are spirits who show up in houses, even with the residual hauntings, where it's almost on cue and on schedule, are these interdimensional? And we don't even know for certain that there are other dimensions, much less ways to come through. There's still theory. String is still a theory. Quantum is still a theory. Mm-hmm. The theory of relativity was a theory for 70 plus years. I mean, and we still took it as fact because it wound up, which is good because it wound up being proven. But, you know, there's so many things that do raise questions. You know, it's like the Skinwalker Ranch, where everything is supposed to be, plus dimensional beings that, for whatever reason, seem to just be there. Now,
before I get on the Skinwalker Ranch, there's one thing I want to say.
Yes.
There are a lot of reports recently. When I say recently, within the last 2.5, 3 years, maybe 3 years now, where Bigfoot reports are coming out where there's a flash of bright light,
yes,
seen before the actual sighting or right after the actual sighting disappears. There's a flash. We have one bipedal case where, as the gentlemen are driving up on it on a highway, it's off to the side of the road, and they describe it as a silver-colored aura around the creature. Now, the minute the creature turns away and jumps over a guardrail and down an embankment and into the woods, it disappears. But at the time they see it, it has like this silver aura around it. There are 3 or 4 cases here in Pennsylvania where large, hairy, tall, muscular-looking Bigfoot reports come out where they see it, it sees them, there's a bright flash of light, and they're gone. And
wait, they see an ET?
I don't know.
Is that what you said?
You know, well, here's the thing we got to all remember as investigators. People or when people are looking at something, that is the worst evidence in the world. When
yes.
You have eyewitness testimony, worst witnesses in the world, whether it's in police work or anything else we do. Worst witnesses. Why? Because, first of all, you're going to have people that do this, what we do, that it's already predispositioned in their head what they want to see.
Yes.
So my grandmother could run across naked. Well, I wouldn't want to see that. And they're seeing Bigfoot. And they'll swear to that. They'll take that to the grave.
Yes.
Or you have a multi-witness. And they all saw the same thing, except when you separate them and talk to each one individually, away from the other group. You got a group of 10, you get 10. One was tall. No, he was short. No, he was gray. No, he was blue. No, he had green eyes. No, he had black eyes. You know, it just goes up and down and up and down. Eyewitness testimony is the worst. It's part of your investigation, and you've got to take that. But you got to put that in your head that most people, if they're looking for something in the sky or in a house or out in the field, they're predispositioned on what they're looking for. I've had bipedal reports, 2, that describe a werewolf. Matter of fact, they're describing Lon Chaney from the movie.
But does he do the walk?
Yeah, it's just it's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. I mean, there's a group I know right now. They started about a year or so ago, and they've got all the answers. All the answers. Unfortunately, everything they're talking about is either wrong or misspoken or an outright lie. And I've looked at a couple of their photographs. They're doctored. And come on. I've been doing this a long time. You're going to send me a photograph. I'm going to take it apart, layer by layer. And when I'm done with it, you're either going to have a, yay, that's a nice photograph, or don't bother me with this nonsense anymore. And it's different today than it was years ago because researchers are younger. That's one. Two, you have more women involved in research now.
Yes. Three,
you have a lot of people that know exactly what they're doing with equipment. They're ex-military, they're ex-law enforcement, they're ex-whatever, but they know what they're doing. They know how to do it. And, I'm not going to stay in there and, blow smoke up anybody's butt telling them what a great researcher they are. Because if they suck, I'm going to tell them they suck. Don't bother me. If they honestly need help and I see that they're really trying hard to do something, I'll go way out of my way to help them. And, but they're few and far between. Everybody wants to be a movie star. They don't, everything, they want it to fall, they want to walk into a graveyard, the paranormal guys. They want to walk into a graveyard and have the Frankenstein monster walk up and say, hey, how you doing? Let's go get a beer. Or the ufology guys. They want to sit out there and look up the sky, and everything that's in the sky is a UFO. And the one that kills me is I was on a Star Watch. I was invited to it. It wasn't ours. And I'm standing there and looking up, got my binoculars, doing my thing, and the guy goes, look at that. That whole thing is moving. I said, did you really graduate from high school? Oh, yeah. What's that got to do with it? I said, the Earth does revolve, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, think about that a minute. I'll guarantee you till this day, right this minute, that guy still don't get it. So what do you do?
Well, you can't. You can't do anything with that.
No, you just do what you do best. And that's why I said, like I said, there are, you got more women going out there. You got more, professionals that are still working, ex-law enforcement, ex-military. We have a pilot, ex-military helicopter pilot on our team. His knowledge is invaluable to us. When I say, I wonder how long it takes to fly from there to there, and he goes like, oh, let me figure that out a minute. Like 15 minutes. But
well, that's handy.
But it is getting better, even though I bitch about it all the time. It is getting better. I don't want that to get out too much because then everybody will think they're doing it right when half of them are doing it wrong. And another thing people don't do, they don't read.
No. They
don't read anything. I mean, let's get back to the Skinwalker Ranch for a second. That book was a good seller. It sold like crazy. I mean, it took me 2 weeks to get a copy. And then when I got a copy, somebody sent me a copy. Book? Yeah, so then somebody sent me one copy for free, which kind of burned me. But anyway, so in that book, it takes you through every strange situation that you could run into in the paranormal, cryptozoology, ufology, et cetera, right down the line, right?
Right.
Page after page after page of strange things happening all over that ranch. You know what bothers me the most?
Tell me.
Not one photograph.
At all.
Not one picture. Not one piece of evidence collected on video or film with all those guys in that field, researchers that have been doing it for years, guys with doctorate degrees. No video, no pictures. I ain't buying it.
Well, and the whole thing is, like, when I first met online and spoke with Ryan Skinner, I didn't know that he had written that book. And when I was talking to him, I was like, oh, well, let me read this. And it mainly involved initially